Hello there guys, and welcome to Mad Doc Minis. In this video I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Rogal Dorn heavy tank. This is not a review video, an unboxing or a build video or anything like that. That's been done 100 times over at this stage. This kit's been out quite a while now and there's really nothing I could add to that side of things. This is just some personal thoughts and ideas I had about the Rogal Dorn that I just want to share with you. Now, I'm very happy we have the Rogal Dorn heavy tank. I think it was nice to have a plastic kit that sits in between the Lehman Russ, which I guess would now be classified as a medium tank in the 40k universe, and the super heavies like the Baneblade. And I know we have some other heavy tank options from Forge World, the Macarius, and I think we have a plastic Malcador now, don't we, on the Horus Heresy side of things. But I'm really happy this thing exists. So please don't misunderstand the stuff that I'm about to say. There's always been something that's bugged me about this tank, and it took me quite a long time to put my finger on exactly what that was. Genuinely, I couldn't kind of figure it out. Well, why am I not happy with this thing? And what it is, it's the turret. I don't like the turret on this tank. And hear me out. So if this was a third-party model that I bought, you know, a 3D print or, you know, third-party plastic kit, I'd be over the moon. It's a fine looking tank and the turret doesn't bug me from that kind of fundamental standpoint. It's fine, I like it. So there's no issues generally speaking. My issue is that it doesn't really follow the design language of the other Imperial vehicles enough for me to be happy. The hull is fine. The turret isn't, in my view. I know some of you are going to disagree with me there, and that's fine. I do drop it in the comments. I'm always interested to hear your thoughts and opinions on this sort of thing. But no, it doesn't follow the design language enough, and I will just show you. And apologies, the sun's coming through the window quite strong there, so I do apologise for that. But I will just bring in a Lehman Russ next to it. Now, this is a converted Lehman Russ. It's got wider tracks from a World War I tank kit, and the turret is a kind of like a homemade Conqueror, basically. And incidentally, if you're interested in how I did that, I will put a link to the video on how I constructed that in the video description. But no, what I'm driving at is if you look at the turret on the Lehman Russ, a lot of the Imperial Guard tanks have this kind of angular turret design, which I like. Now, I'm not going to get into what's more realistic and what's not. That really, I don't understand why people argue back and forth about realism and Warhammer 40,000. It's a ridiculous universe. We all love it, but let's not be silly about what's realistic and what's not. So just forget that side of things. Just look at the aesthetics. That's what I'm talking about. Angular kind of armored plates, and that's the same for, you know, the super heavies. It's the same for the Macarius. There's a consistent design language that allows you to have some kind of cohesion across your force, at least the kind of look of the thing, right? Now, some of you may say, oh, well, the Imperium's massive, has existed for thousands of years and you're bound to get different tank designs and blah. Yeah, I get all that. I get it. But it doesn't solve the problem of me not being happy with the design of the turret. So I'm going to kind of chat a little bit more about that. So I did think about, well, could we put another turret on this thing? Bearing in mind, there's quite a size difference between the Lehman Russ and the Rogal Dorn. So if you were to take the turret off and you were to try to somehow jerry-rig a turret from a Lehman Russ, that just looks too small. I mean, it kind of looks sort of cool in its own way, but it's too small. You know, the turret ring alone is just way too big to accommodate the much smaller turret. So that's out. And then I kind of thought, well, what happens when we put a Baneblade turret on this thing? Would that look any good? And I think it does. Okay, so what I did is I took a Baneblade turret, and unfortunately, the turret ring is a different size, and it's very close, but it's not quite the right size. So I shaved off the turret ring all the way around, clipped it off with clippers, then trimmed it down with a knife so we had a flat surface. And then I attached the right size plastic lid on the bottom, very low tech, okay, but it sticks out enough to kind of hold in the turret ring. So there's not too much wobble there. and that makes me much happier. Now, instantly, I know some of you are going to hate this because you're going to think, "Ooh, gosh, that looks way too big on there." And I kind of get that. It is, I mean, for Warhammer 40,000 anyway, it is a little bit oversized. Interestingly, it's kind of like a bit undersized on the Baneblade. But I really like it. There is the option for actually leaving this kind of storage bin area off, so you can have a slightly stubbier turret. I did try that. And I will show you at the end of the video as well what it looks like without that storage bin on. So you can kind of judge for yourself. If there's something you wanted to mimic or have a go at yourself, then you could, do it however you wanted to, really. But I much prefer that. The nice thing is it still kind of satisfies WYSIWYG, at least in terms of the suppressor. We've got this enormous Baneblade cannon, which maybe that'll be a bit too big for some of you now. And there's definitely a scaling back of the weapon sizes these days, isn't there, in 40k? But I really like it. I'm a lover of the classics. But we've also got the coaxial auto cannon. So we can see there that although it's on the other side, we're still we're satisfying WYSIWYG, really, aren't we? And we've also got two turret hatches as well. So I think it's really nice, and I like it. And that's the way I'm going with mine. I'm buying Baneblade turrets and sticking them on my Rogal Dorns because I prefer the look. And yeah, I just really happy with this. And you could change the look again by having the track guards on, of course. I've opted to keep those off. The only area I would say it genuinely looks a bit awkward from is here. You've got a little bit of overhang kind of going on either side under here, which I think looks a little bit awkward from the wrong angle. But really, most angles on this thing, I'm preferring that. I think it just looks better, and it follows that design language more effectively. You can tell that these two are cousins. You can tell it now. And before, maybe with the hull, but not so much with the turret. So there you go. That's my little take on the Rogal Dorn. And if you bear with me, I will do a proper comparison between the two turret options there. The idea of leaving the storage bin off. I will show you the two kind of main ideas there on top of the tank, so you can judge that for yourself. And I will do a comparison with the original turret as well. I'll put it all on a rotating platform so you can have a proper look. But yeah, a pretty basic video, guys. It's just an idea I had and one that I'll be following. I'm almost certainly not the first person to think of this. I mean, you go on the internet for 5 seconds. I'm sure other people have done this a long time ago, but it kind of is the first time it kind of came to me the other day, the idea of doing this. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys, and I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it. And have a closer look on the rotating platform before you make too much of a judgment call. So we'll go to that screen now, so you can have a closer inspection of things. Okay, guys, so I've got the original intended Rogal Dorn turret in place at the moment on this vehicle with the larger suppressor cannon. Definitely a more rounded turret design, as I've mentioned. Absolutely fine on its own. The design of this tank is good. It's a nice looking thing. Personally, I just don't like the look of it as much when it's sitting next to other Imperial Guard tanks. It just doesn't follow that design language enough for me to be happy. So let's go ahead and put the Baneblade turret on. So this is the one with the extended storage box out the back. Now, this is an optional thing that you can do in the kit. You can leave it off or you can put it on. There's definitely a more modern aesthetic to this because the turret is larger in relation to the hull than is common in Warhammer 40,000. That may offend you, and we have definitely taken a step away from that 40k aesthetic. However, it's a nice looking thing, and that storage box definitely tends to balance out that long cannon at the front. So definitely a nice looking tank in my view. But let's go to the shorter turret now. That's the same turret minus the storage box. I really like this as well, actually. I'm completely on the fence about this. I'm 50-50. I think they're both great. And this one's definitely bringing second edition vibes. It's truer to the 40k aesthetic, I think. And interestingly, the turret is really genuinely not that much bigger than the original Rogal Dorn turret. So if you want to be a bit more pure about it, this may be the way you'd like to go. But let's go ahead and put that storage box back on. There we are. So you can do another comparison there. And it's so difficult for me. They're both really nice looking things. I mean, you may hate both of these. You may prefer the original turret. Do let me know. I'd be interested to find out. But I think they're both improvements over the original. There we go. There's the short one again. Very nice. I can't decide between the two. Maybe I'll have one of each. I don't know. But I think they're definitely both nice looking things. But yeah, we'll go back to the longer turret again one more time so you can see. There we are, there's the storage box back on. I hope this has been helpful, guys. It's really trying to save you a bit of time and money in making the decisions. If it's something you've been thinking about and you've wondered about it, then you can look at this video and kind of make the judgment call, really, and hopefully that's useful. But we're going back to the original turret now, just back to where we started there. And if you've enjoyed the content, guys, please consider liking and sharing. It really does help the channel to grow. And if you're not already subscribed, consider giving us a sub. We've got plenty more content on the way. Imperial Guard tanks, Primaris, got the Titan stuff to do. So I really appreciate all your support, and I will catch you in another video soon. Take care, guys. Cheers.